Hello students, welcome to Biology Bites. Let's simplify biology. Myself Sadhna Bajpayee, and today we will discuss about the classification of kingdom Animalia, which is one of the topic of diversity in living organism chapter. So let us begin with this particular topic, kingdom Animalia. As we know that the whole animal, plant, and all the living organisms were classified by one scientist, R.H. Whittaker. He has classified basically all the living world into 5 kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. I have already discussed all other kingdoms. Today we will discuss about kingdom Animalia. So kingdom Animalia, how you will describe? Kingdom Animalia are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means the cell. It is having the nuclear membrane. Then they are multicellular, means they are made up of many cells. And of course, they are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means they cannot prepare their own food like the plant. So all the animals are eukaryotic, multicellular, and heterotrophic. And animals, they will eat either the plant product or animal product. The organisms or the animal which eat plant product, they are called herbivores. And the organism which depend on flesh of other animal or meat of other animal, they are called carnivore. And the animal which can eat both plant and animal products are called omnivores. Okay. Now some criteria is there for the classification. Let us discuss about that criteria. The first criteria is body organization. Body organization means either the animal consists of only cells or the body is made up of various types of tissue, or the animal body is made up of various types of organ and organ system. According to the animals are divided into 3 types. That is, first is cellular grade organization. The first one is cellular grade organization. Cellular grade of organization. The second one is tissue grade of organization. Tissue grade of organization. And the third one is the organ grade of organization. The organ grade of organization. Let me write organ grade of organization. Means the animal body, it might be made up of or consist of only cell, loosely aggregated cell. Loosely aggregated means many cells, they will aggregate, means पास आ जाएंगे और फिर एक animal की body बनाते. And in tissue grade of organization, in that the cells will be organized and termed as a tissue. So the cell get organized. They will get organized and form the particular tissue, that is tissue. And in organ grade of organization, the animal is made up of organ and organ system. Except the sponges and ciliate that I will discuss later on. So organ grade of organization, the animal body is made up of organ and organ system. Organ and organ system. Now the next criteria. The next criteria for animal classification is body symmetry. Body symmetry, it may be bilateral, it may be first of all asymmetric. Asymmetric, then it may be bilateral symmetric, or it may be radial symmetric. So what do you mean by that? Let me explain that. In asymmetric, when you will divide the animal in any plane, you will never get any half. Means you will never cut animal into, never get equal half. Equal halves of the body of an animal, of the body of animal in any plane, किसी भी plane पे आप काट लो, कभी भी आपको equal half नहीं मिलेगा. Then that animal is known as asymmetric. But when you will divide the animal into two equal halves through the central axis, when you will divide the animal into, animal can be divided into two equal halves, divided into two equal halves, two halves from the central axis, then it is called radial symmetric. And in bilateral symmetry, we are showing, or human body showing bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry, when you will divide the organism into two equal halves in one plane. So in one plane, the animal can be divided into two equal halves, into halves. So this is the second criteria. Now let us talk about the germ layer. According to the different types of germ layer present in the animal, the animals are divided into, again, three types. What are the three types? The three types are, the first is diploblastic and triploblastic. That is diploblastic. I will explain you what these terms mean, and triploblastic. Either the animal may be triploblastic or triploblastic. In diploblastic animal, the germ layer in the early embryo may be arranged into two functional or fundamental layer or three fundamental layer. Diploblastic means when the germ layer in the early embryo, I think all of you know what is embryo. After fertilization, zygote will form, and that zygote cells continuously divide and give rise to embryo. So germ layer in the embryo may arrange in two layers, two fundamental layers. Then it is known as diploblastic. And when the germ layer they are arranged in, how you will explain the triploblastic? The germ layer in the embryo, as I told you, what is embryo? So the germ layer in the embryo arranged in three fundamental layers. The animal will be known as triploblastic. Clear? Fundamental layers. Okay. Now, the next criteria for the animal classification is body cavity. Body cavity, it is also known as coelom. Body cavity, it is known as coelom also. Okay. So, it is divided into three types. What are they? The first one is acoelomate. Acoelomate means where there is no body cavity is present. They are known as acoelomates. The second one is pseudocoelomates. Pseudocoelomate. And the third one is coelomate. These are the three different type of body cavity present in the animal. The animal with no body cavity. Body cavity is absent. Then they are known as acoelomate. Pseudocoelomate means the body cavity is not lined by the mesoderm. Pseudocoelomate means the body cavity or the coelom is not lined by the mesoderm. Clear? Like what are the three germ layers? The germ layers are, let me tell you what are the three germ layers. The three germ layers are ectoderm, mesoderm, and the third one is endoderm. Clear? Now coelomate. What are coelomates? The animal having the true body cavity. The animal having a true body cavity is present. True body cavity is present. And in this, the animal are belonging to higher grades of animal. Okay? So, true cavity. True cavity is present. Let me write that. True cavity is present. Okay. Now the next criteria. The next criteria is presence of notochord. If the notochord is present, then we are saying they are chordate. And if the notochord is absent, they are known as non-chordate. So it is divided into chordate and non-chordate. So non-chordate and chordate. So what is notochord? Actually, notochord is one of the structure which is very similar to the spinal cord. which is present in higher grades of animal, or like human being, we are having spinal cord. But earlier, the spinal cord was only the spinal cord. It was earlier nerve cord, and nerve cord is getting protected by notochord. So if notochord is absent, the animals are called non-chordates. And if the notochord is present, as I told you, what is notochord? It is very much similar to the vertebral column. So notochord, if it is absent, then those animals are called non-chordates. And if the notochord is present, then they are called chordates. So notochord is present. Okay. After that, the next criteria for the classification is mode of nutrition. Which type of food the animals are taking. So in that, the first one is herbivore. Basically, they are divided into 4 types. The first one is herbivores. Herbivores means the animal, they only eat the plant or plant eating animals. The plant eating animals, they all are called herbivores. The second one is carnivores. Carnivores means the animals which are eating other animals or flesh of other animals. The third one is your omnivores. Omnivores means the animal which can eat or which are eating both plant and animal. They eat both plant and animal. And the last one is parasite. Parasite, the animal getting food from the other animal. Means they literally always present or reside. Parasites means they will just getting food from the body of the host, getting food from other animal, from other animals. Okay, further it is divided into ectoparasite, endoparasite. Means either it will permanently live on the body or inside the body. Clear? So in this way, this is the criteria of classification of animals. Now let us move to the next slide. In that, we will see what is the basic classification. According to the basic classification, the animal kingdom is first divided into sponges or Porifera phylum. So as you can see in the figure, the sponges are present. These sponges so the various phylum, the animal kingdom I will discuss will be your kingdom Animalia. This kingdom Animalia is further divided into various phylum. These phylum are various type, various names are there. Let me write all those phylum. That is For kingdom Animalia, the phylum which I will discuss, they all are, the first one is Porifera. The first phylum is Porifera. I will discuss about this phylum. After that, the next phylum, I will discuss about, the next phylum will be your Coelenterata, which is also known as Cnidaria. And why the special name is given to them, that also I will discuss. The next phylum is your Platyhelminths. Then the next phylum after Platyhelminths will be Nematoda. It is also called Aschelminths. When I will describe the character, then with example, then automatically it will be very clear about each and every phyla. After this Aschelminths, Annelida. After Annelida, we will discuss about Mollusca. Before that, Arthropoda. After Arthropoda, I will discuss about phylum Mollusca, and then finally we will discuss about Echinodermata. In examination, generally, in 5-mark question, write down the characteristics of various phylum. It is asked. If you will remember the example, then it will be very easy for you to write the characteristics. So let us discuss about the first phylum, that is Porifera. Pori means pore. Pore means hole. So this animal, the first important thing you should keep it in your mind, that the member of this phylum, they are pore bearing animals. Means the whole body is made up of many pores or holes are there. Okay. And it is commonly it is called sponges. That is the example of this. Clear? They are the most primitive one, and they are generally present in the marine water. Marine water is the habitat. Habitat means where any animal is happily living without any problem. And in the marine water, they will be attached to the rocks. They are always attached to the rock, or you can say they are sessile. Sessile means they are fixed on the ground like a plant. Earlier they were mistaken as if they are the plant. Okay, so sponges are sessile, and generally they are showing asymmetrical type of symmetry, or they are asymmetrical. Hence you cannot divide them into two equal halves. They are diploblastic. As I told you, only 2 germ layers are present. They are diploblastic. Clear? No tissue level of organization is present. Only the cellular level of organization is present. Means many cells, they will combine together, and each of them are performing their own function without concern or connected with another one. So cellular level of organization is seen in the porifera. Clear? These are the basic important characteristics of phylum Porifera. And of course, reproduction is also one of the main important feature to keep it in mind. So how they will reproduce? That's why they are present till now. So generally, they will reproduce asexually. Asexually by the fragmentation process. Okay, by the fragmentation process, budding process, and gemule. Gemule means few structures which are formed, or the reproductive bodies which are produced by the sponges, and then when it will get any substrate, then they will germinate there only. Sometime sexual reproduction will also be seen. Okay. Another important thing is that the sponges have no mouth. The sponges, they have no mouth. Mouth is absent. And digestive cavity is not there. No digestive system is there. No mouth, no digestive cavity, no anus. All these things are absent inside the sponges. Clear? The water, so how the water is going, how they will get the nutrient? Actually, the water, it will go inside through the small holes, which are called ostia. And the large hole which is present at the top, it is called osculum. So through ostia are the holes which are present all over the body. So through ostia, the water will enter inside, and through osculum, the water will remove from the body. When water enter inside the body, it is filled with all the other insects and other microorganisms from where they will get their food. Clear? So what will be the example? Let me write the example of this kingdom, or sorry, phylum. The example of this phylum are Sycon, Spongilla. Many are there, but few. I am writing only 2 for you all, like Sycon and Spongilla. The first one is Sycon, and the second one is Spongilla. Let me write that. Example, Sycon, and the second is Spongilla. Many other are also there, but we will not write that. You will get many examples inside the textbook. Okay. Now the next phylum, it is your Cnidaria, or it is also called Coelenterata. Why the name is there? When I will tell you the various character, then of course you will understand it. So student, let us talk about the next phylum, that is Coelenterata, and or it is also called Cnidaria. So why it is called Cnidarian? Why it is called Coelenterata? They are having some particular character. That's why they are called Coelenterata. Coelenterata means cylindrical body. And these animals, they are having special structure which are helping to defend themselves. They are spine-like structure, nidoblast cells. From their Cnidarian term is arised. Okay. Now, first characteristic is they are diploblastic. Diploblastic means two germs layer in the body, only two germ layer are there. That's why it is known as diploblastic animal. Means they are having only ectoderm and endoderm. Outer ectoderm will be there and endoderm is present. No mesoderm is present. That's why it is diploblastic. Clear? Instead of mesoderm, some gelatinous substance, mesoglea, is present. That's why it is diploblastic. Okay, and they will show tissue level of organization. Tissue level means when cells, they will combine together and they work with each other. Then the body is known as tissue. It is having a or showing a tissue level of organization. And they are acoelomate. Acoelomate means body cavity is absent. After that, the next important point is that they may be sessile, they may be free living. Okay, and they have a tentacles. Tentacles are present, like the jellyfish and hydra. These are the two known examples. Many others are also there, but tentacles are present. Like if you will see the hydra, they are having these type of structures. They are called what? Tentacles. These tentacles, what is the function of these tentacles? They are present around the mouth and help to capture the food. And also, it will act as a defensive organ for these animals. They will catch or capture the prey also. Clear? Then, as I told you that Cnidaria, they may be sessile, they may be free floating. So the sessile form of Cnidarians, it is called polyp form. Polyp form, it is the sessile form of Cnidaria. And the free living or free floating form is Medusa. The free floating form of Cnidarians are known as Medusa. Clear? So, example for sessile is Hydra. Sessile Cnidarian or sessile Coelenterata is Hydra, and the free floating, it is jellyfish. Jellyfish, they have very soft body, but tentacles help them to defend them. Okay. Few animals of Coelenterata, in half of the life they will show Medusa state, and after that polyp stage also. So then if we will talk about the reproduction, they can reproduce asexually and sexually both. Both the type of reproduction is seen in the Cnidarians. Clear? So Hydra and Portuguese man of war. What is Portuguese man of war? Actually, jellyfish. Jellyfish-like animal is there, which is belonging to Cnidarian. Okay. Now, let us move to. So you can see in the picture. This is sea anemone. This one is sea anemone. This is jellyfish. This is Portuguese man of war. This is jellyfish. So these are the example of phylum Coelenterata. Now let us move to the next slide, in which I will explain about the next phylum, that is platyhelminths. Student, before discussing the platyhelminths, I want to discuss about the Ctenophora, where the C is silent. Ctenophora, these are the animal which are having the special character in them, that they are showing bioluminescence. So what do you mean by bioluminescence? That is the new term, I think, for you. So bioluminescence means these animals can emit the light. They will emit light because of the presence of some special pigment. And they are also having the soft body as the jellyfish. You can see the picture of that. It is not in right now in your syllabus, but now this phylum is also added inside the animal kingdom. Let us go to the main platyhelminths. As I told you, platyhelminths, why this name is there? Platy means flat. Platy means flat. So that's why they are called platy or flat worm. Helminths mean worm. Helminths mean worm. So platyhelminths, they are dorso-ventrally flattened, means their upper part and the lower part, they get flattened from top to bottom. They are also called flatworm commonly. Okay. The other characteristic, they are mostly parasite. Parasite means they reside or they live on other animal for their food. They can present in the fresh water, or they can be present inside the marine water. Marine means inside the sea. Then they show bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means you can divide the animal into two equal halves. Means like this. You can divide the animal into two equal halves. And that's why it is called bilateral symmetrical. Clear? After that, the next important thing is that they are triploblastic. They are triploblastic. Triploblastic means 3 germ layers are present. That is ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. And no segments are not there. It is unsegmented animal. Unsegmented animal. It is not having any segment internally. Means head, tail, you can't say that type of division. Then they are acoelomate. Acoelomate means body cavity is absent. Clear? And the body, it is covered with cuticle. Cuticle is there, which is giving them protection from the harmful chemical released by the host body. Clear? Now, one more important thing is that in them, for excretion of waste material, or especially the nitrogenous waste, the flame cells are present. Flame cells are present. So this is sometimes asked, what is the excretory organ in the flatworm? What is the role of flame cells inside the platyhelminths? Okay, and they are, as you know, they are mostly parasites. So alimentary canal is absent. Alimentary canal means they don't have digestive system. Alimentary canal is absent because they will directly absorb the nutrient from the body of the host. Alimentary canal is absent or it is incomplete. Absent, or you can say it is incomplete. Incomplete alimentary canal is present. Clear? After that, for attaching themselves, they are having hooks. With the help of that, hooks or suckers are there. Hooks or suckers are there, with the help of which they are attached to the body of host, which help them to absorb the nutrient. They are showing which type of nutrition? Parasitic. So for that parasitic nutrition, they are having special adaptation or special changes inside the body. And if we will talk about the reproduction, they will reproduce asexually and sexually both. They are, most of them, they are hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means the animal which are having both the reproductive and organs. As a result, they can produce both the gametes, means sperm and ovum. They can produce both of them. Large number of fertilized eggs are generally passed on to the host body, and then they will multiply inside the body of host. So as we know, example, it is given. What is that? Is tapeworm, and the next one is liver fluke. Many other are also there, but the general example are these two. Now we will go to the next phylum, that is Aschelminthes. Aschelminth, it is also called nematoda. They are worms, means they are having the cylindrical body, and this cylindrical body help them to move and do their other activity easily. Okay, so nematoda, how the name is describing, it is also called a round worm. Round worm. They are free living and they are also showing the parasitic mode of nutrition. They are showing bilateral symmetry, means the body can be divided into two equal halves. So bilateral symmetry will be shown by the animal. They are triploblastic. These characters or these things should be mentioned always when you will write the characteristic. So they are showing triploblastic type of germ layers, and the body is, as I told you, it is cylindrical but not flat. Like in the flatworm, the body is cylindrical. Clear? So nematoda, it have pseudocoelomates, or they are having the body cavity, but it is not the true one. That's why it is also called pseudocoelomatic animal. Okay, pseudocoelom is present. It is having proper mouth is there. mouth is present, intestine is there, anus is there. Before this, your ascalmins, platyhelminths are there. In there, the digestive tract was incomplete, but here the digestive tract is complete. Digestive tract is complete one. Clear? It is complete. Clear? Then excretory organ, how it will excrete the things? No special cells are present. Through the body surface, from the excretory tubes are there. Special cells are not there. Excretory tubes are present for excretion. Excretion is done through the excretory tube. And it can be hermaphrodite. Generally, the sexes are separated. Means they are unisexual. They are unisexual. It is also called dioecious. Dioecious means when you will see male and female type of animal. Clear? So the best example of your eschelmin is your hookworm or filarial worm or the roundworm. Filarial worm, it is a carrier of filaria disease. Clear? How these worms will enter inside the body? These worms enter inside the body through contaminated food and water. Now let us discuss about the next phylum, that is Annelida. So in Annelida, the best example is earthworm. Annelida is commonly called segmented worm. It is called commonly known as segmented worm. Segments means the segments, they are present internally also. Commonly known as segmented worm also. And earthworm is the best example. Clear? And they are always hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means both the sex organs are present inside the one animal. So hermaphrodite. They are hermaphrodite. Then if we will talk about the symmetry, it is showing bilateral symmetry. It is showing bilaterally symmetrical body, and along with that, it is triploblastic. Triploblastic means 3 germ layers are present. That is ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. And true body cavity is present. It can be present, if we will talk about the habitat, it can present on the moist land, marine water, fresh water. And for locomotion, they have special organs which are known as setae. Help them for locomotion, and few other animals, they are having parapodia for the locomotion. Okay. Leech is also one of the example of Annelida. Now, and another excretory organ, if we will talk about nephridia, are the excretory organ which are present inside the Annelida. Okay, nephridia are the excretory organ. and the body is generally hermaphrodite. They are best soil. Their diet is soil. Example, earthworm, which is also known as the farmer's friend. One best common example is earthworm and leech. Leech is showing the parasitic mode of nutrition. These are the two examples you can learn for Annelida. Now we will go to the next phylum. That is, this is earthworm. This is what? Earthworm, which you will see during the rainy season in the moist mud. Clear? Now we will go to the next phylum. The next phylum is Arthropoda. Arthropoda, this is the phylum in which the maximum number of animals are there. It is the largest phylum. The largest phylum of animal kingdom is, generally it is asked, which phylum is having the most animals. Largest phylum is Arthropoda. In this, all the various types of insect which you can think about, that all are coming in this. In phylum Arthropoda, the first, what is the meaning of Arthropoda? Arthropoda means, arthro means joint. So animal with poda means feet. Animal with jointed leg. Animal with jointed leg or appendages, they all come under an arthropoda. This is the largest group of animals. Okay, so if we will talk about the habitat, you can see them everywhere. They are present on land, they are present on inside the water, they are present in air also. They are flying in the air because they are having wings also for flying. Then they are triploblastic. Triploblastic means 3 germ layers are present. That is ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. They are triploblastic. Coelomate means body cavity is present, and they are showing bilateral symmetry. Means body can be divided into 2 equal half in one plane only. Clear? The body, it is covered with cuticle, which is giving them protection. It is cuticle will form the exoskeleton. Exoskeleton, which is covering the internal organs of any organism. And periodically, they will remove their cuticle also. And that process is known as molting. Through molting, they can remove their or change their skin or cuticle. Okay. Now, another important thing is that body is divided into head and trunk. Head and trunk, these are the 2 parts of the body, or the body is divided into 2 parts, head and trunk. And further, the trunk, it is divided into your thorax and abdomen. Thorax and abdomen. Clear? Now, if we will talk about the respiratory organ, the respiratory organs in insects are spiracles. Spiracles are the respiratory organ. And if we will talk about the excretory organ, So in these animals, some special structures are present for excretion, that is Malpighian tubule for excretion. Excretion means removing of the nitrogenous waste. They show metamorphosis process. Metamorphosis means it is a process in which the adult will not directly came out from the egg. They have to follow in between stage. That is, egg will be there, then larva will be there, pupa will be there, and then from that the adult will form. This process is known as metamorphosis. If you will talk about the example, you can think about any insect, that is mosquito, spider, honeybee, fly, that is house fly, cockroach. So all these insects are belonging to Arthropoda. Now, the next phylum is Mollusca. Mollusca, it means a soft body animal. The animal's body is so soft. So for giving protection to the body, they are having calcareous shell around their body. So Mollusca meaning means the soft bodied animal. And this is the second largest phylum. Second largest phylum of the animal kingdom is the soft bodied animal, and it is also known as the shelled animal. For the protection of the animal, they are producing some calcium layer around it or shell around it. That's why they are also known as shelled animal. Okay, and it is the second largest phylum, the second largest phylum of the animal kingdom. Okay. Now, next thing is where you will generally see them in the marine water. Marine water means समुद्र के पानी में मिलते हैं. शंख, सीपी, ये सारे क्या है? These all animals are coming under mollusca. Clear? So mollusca, they are having what? Shell, which is made up of calcium. They can be present on the land also, like the snail. Snail is also belonging to mollusca. Okay, so body is having the calcareous shell. Calcareous shell means the shell is made up of calcium, and it is for giving the protection to the soft body of the animal. Okay. Now, body is divided into how many parts? The body is divided into head, then it is having muscular foot also. It is having muscular foot also, which help them for locomotion. Muscular foot, why it is present? For the locomotion, for moving one place to another. Clear? And they are having feather-like gills for the respiration. Feather-like gills which are present outside of the body, which help in respiration. For respiration, these organs are present. Okay. Now, example, if we will talk about the example for this phylum is octopus. I think all of you have seen the octopus, the most deadliest organism of this water life. Okay, these are the few example of mollusca. Now let us talk about echinodermata. Echinodermata, the term itself is self-explaining. Echine means spine and derm means skin. So the skin, it is covered with a spine. And it is the most beautiful animal of the animal kingdom. They are having which shape? Star shape. So starfish is the best example of echinodermata. You can see this. This is so beautiful. This is starfish, sea urchin. They are having echines or spines on the body. This body is not smooth. Okay, now let us discuss about its characteristic. So, echinodermata, it is free living, marine animal or marine animal. Means you will never see any starfish inside the fresh water or any river. Exclusively it is present inside the sea. Then it is triploblastic, means 3 germ layers are present, and it is coelomate. Body cavity is present. Then the skin, the spiny skin is there. Echino means spine and derm means skin. So the spiny skin is there. Spiny skin or derm, which is having these spines are made up of calcium. So calcareous spines, they all are made up of calcium. And mouth is always on the ventral side. Ventral means lower side. Mouth always present on lower side. Mouth, you can see the mouth is never upside. It is always in the lower side. So mouth is present. Mouth is present in the lower side. And with the help of that, it can take the food. Mouth is in lower side or ventral side, you can say. It is in the lower side. But they are having a very special system inside the body, that is water vascular system is present. Water vascular system is present. This water vascular system will help them for the circulation of the various material inside the body. And they are having 2 feet for blow. So then let us discuss about the chordata. Chordata means the animal having the notochord. The notochord, if the notochord is present, those animals are called chordata. Okay. What is notochord? Notochord is very much similar to the backbone. Okay. Now, the phylum Chordata is further divided into subphylum Protochordata. Protochordata means chordates without a backbone. Protochordata means they are the chordates without backbone. Chordates without a backbone. Without a backbone. Okay. Then it is further divided into your cephalochordata, urochordata, hemichordata. So what is the difference between all these? In cephalochordata, urochordata and hemichordata, the notochord is present in various parts. Like in cephalochordata, the notochord is present in the head region only. The notochord is present where? It is present in the head region. In hemichordata, only in the larval stage, the notochord is present. After that, it will disappear. Larval state notochord was present and after that it will disappear. In urochordata, the notochord is present in the tail region only. So it is the uro means tail. This is the only difference. That notochord is present in a particular part of the body only. Now let us talk about subphylum Vertebrata. In Vertebrata, particular backbone is present. That backbone will protect the spinal cord. Spinal cord, it is the part of your nervous system as we know. So vertebrata, animals with a vertebral column. Animals with vertebral column. The animals which are having the vertebral column, they come under vertebrata. Vertebral column or simply the backbone. And they are the most advanced phylum. Vertebrata, they are further divided into Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Agnatha means the mouth, it is not having any jaw. That's why it is also known as jawless animal. And Gnathostomata, they are having the jaw in the mouth. This is the basic difference between both of them. In cyclostomata, the mouth is circular, but it is having the suckers because they are showing generally the parasitic mode of nutrition. So with the help of sucker, they will attach with the body of the other animal and then it will take or suck the various nutrients. Okay. Now we will talk about the characteristic of vertebrata. So for characteristic of vertebrata, let us talk about this phylum or this subphylum in detail. So vertebrata, the first is they are bilateral symmetrical animal. They are showing bilateral symmetry means the body can be divided into two equal half in one plane. Then they are triploblastic. Triploblastic means three germ layer are present. That is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. And coelom. Coelom means coelomic animal means the body cavity is present. And body is having the organ system of level of organization. Various organs are present and organ systems are present. Organ system of organization. These are little bit advanced feature. That's why all vertebrata are kept in the higher grade of animal. In this, the further nervous system is also there. This system helps the animal to sense the surrounding. As I told you, the system is present, that is organ system. So nervous system is present or brain is present. That brain helps to sense the surrounding. Now vertebrata is further divided into 5 classes. That 5 classes which we will discuss are the 5 classes which we can see around us. That is Pisces, Gnathostomata and Tetrapoda superclasses are there. Gnathostomata is further divided to superclass Pisces and superclass Tetrapoda. In the Pisces, the fishes will come. All the fishes will come under Pisces. Pisces or the fishes, what is the place? They are living inside the water only. They are further divided into class Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes, they are also known as cartilaginous fishes because the main body or the skeleton, endoskeleton, It is made up of cartilage. Cartilage is the type of connective tissue. So cartilage is present as a endoskeleton. Endoskeleton means inside it. After that, it is covered with some covering. Clear? The second feature of cartilaginous fish is the mouth. The mouth is always, it is in the ventral side. Mouth is in the ventral side. You can see this is the ventral side. So mouth is in the ventral side. That is also the peculiar feature of cartilaginous species or chondrichthyes. Then they don't have this particular fishes. They are very harmful. They are very dangerous. Air bladder, which is absent in air bladder is absent. Due to that, they have to continuously show the locomotion, because this air bladder is actually providing buoyancy. But here buoyancy is not there because air bladder is absent. That's why they are always showing the motion. If they will stop, they will sink down. So shark is the best example of cartilaginous fish, and we know that shark is the most deadliest fish in the aquatic life. The second one is ostrichthys. They are also known as bony fish. Bony fish. Why? Because the endoskeleton, it is made up of bone. Endoskeleton is made up of bone only. That's why it is known as bony fish. The mouth is in front. Mouth is always in front. Air bladder is present. That air bladder, it is always filled with water, and due with the air and help it in buoyancy. Without swimming, they can be there on its position without sinking. So these are the basic difference between your bony fish and the cartilaginous fishes. Now we will discuss about the tetrapoda. Tetrapoda means which is having, tetra means four. Tetra means four, poda means feet. So the animal which are having the 4 feet, they all come under tetrapoda. So in this, they are divided into the class. They are divided into basically 4 classes. That is amphibians. The second one is reptiles. Then aves. And the last one is mammal. Mammal, we are belonging to this particular class, mammals. Now let us talk about the various characteristics of each and every class. Amphibians. With the example, as I told you, if you will remember any particular example, then it will be very easy for you to write down the characteristic. So amphibian, you can see the frog. All the frog and even this lizard-like organism, it is actually salamander, which is not, you cannot see in the surrounding. That's why frog, you can keep it in your mind. This is frog. I think all of you have seen this. Many stories were there in your primary, pre-primary classes also. Frog, it is belonging to amphibian. Amphi means two and bians means environment. So the animals which can live on land and water, as I told you, amphibian, amphi means two. Amphi means two and bians means environment. Environment. So it can live in to environment without any problem. That's why they are called amphibian. Basically, they live on land, but for fertilization, for that process, they are going inside the water. Or generally, the female lay the egg inside the water and the male will release the sperm inside the water. That's why for fertilization, they are going for in the land, inside the water. For the fertilization process, the amphibians are going inside the water. Otherwise, they live on the land. So what are the special characters or adaptations are there with the help of which they can survive without any problem into the environment? The first thing is that they can breathe through they are having gills when they are in a tadpole stage. The baby, we can say, the baby frog, they live inside the water, they were having the gills. But later on, when they will become adult, the gills will disappear and they can breathe through lungs when they are on land, and they can breathe through their skin when they are inside the water. So you can say that they can live very happily on both the land and water because of the respiratory special organs or lungs and skin. Okay, now they are cold-blooded animal. What do you mean by cold-blooded animal? Cold-blooded animal means whose body temperature will also change according to the outer environment. They are called cold-blooded animal. Okay? And the skin. We are talking that they can breathe through their skin. Can we breathe? No. So skin might be having some special property. The skin is having the mucus gland. This mucus gland helps them to breathe inside the water also. So mucus gland present inside the skin. Then they are having limbs, 2 pairs. That's why they come under tetrapoda. 2 pairs of limb. 2 pairs of limb. Help in locomotion. Locomotion means animal can only move from one place to another because of the limbs. Then if we will talk about the heart, so heart is 3 chambered. The heart is 3 chambers. 3 chambers are present inside the heart. Okay. Then excretion, for excretion they are having kidney. Kidney is present for excretion. Kidney for excretion. Excretion means removal of the metabolic waste. Okay. And they are always unisexual. And they will show always sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction you will see. And the fertilization is external. External fertilization is seen. External fertilization means the egg, they are released by the female inside the water, and then male sperm are also released inside the water, and there the fertilization takes place. The best example is frog and salamander. Frog and salamander. Now, if we will talk about reptilia or reptiles. In reptiles or reptilia, they live on land only. I think the most ugliest creature on earth, they are the reptiles only. But for the environment, for making the balance of the ecosystem, they are important. But if we want to see them, like you can see tortoise, snake, chameleon, lizard, and Various others are there. So these all are coming under reptilia. Okay. Now let us discuss about the characteristics of reptilia. So reptilia, they are also called the creeping vertebrates. Creeping vertebrates. These all are animal having the vertebral column. This vertebral column is actually giving protection to the spinal cord. And body of the reptiles is covered with a scale. Body is covered with a dry scale. Before that amphibian, it is the mucus one. It is sticky. But here it is the body is covered with a dry scale. They are cold-blooded animal. Cold-blooded, as I told you, their body temperature will also change according to the outer environment. If we will talk about the respiration, for respiration, lungs are present. With the help of these lungs, they can do the respiration very efficiently. Now, if we will talk about the heart, heart is three-chambered. Three-chambered heart is present. But the crocodile, which is belonging to reptilia, it is having four-chambered heart. It is an exclusive case which contains four-chambered heart. It is belonging to reptilia only. Then sexes are separate. Sexes are separate, showing the sexual reproduction only. No asexual reproduction is seen. But fertilization is internal. The fertilization is internal. So you can see gradually the things getting advanced. That's why they are kept under the higher classes. Okay. Example for reptiles. The most ugliest creature on the world. Lizards, snakes, crocodiles. The skin is very much ugly due to the dry skin. Now let us talk about the next phylum, aves. Aves means चिड़िया, जो कहाँ पर रहती है, उड़ती आसमान में रहती तो पेड़ पर है. इसको arboreal animal बोलते हैं. Arboreal animals, you can see various types of birds. Birds will also increase your lot of queries, enthusiasm. Birds, they are of two types, flightless bird and the birds which can fly also. Let us talk about the various features of the aves. So birds they are also called the feathered animal. The body is covered with a feather which help them to fly. Wings are present. These wings help them to fly. Their body is having the endoskeleton which is ossified or which is having hollow bones. Endoskeleton, it is made up of hollow bones. Hollow bones help them to make their body light, with the help of which they can fly in the sky. But few birds are there which cannot fly. They are called flightless bird. The smallest bird is hummingbird. These are the few interesting birds which you can see around you. Okay, so the body is covered with a feather which help them to fly. The body is having the streamlined shape which increase the speed of the flying of the animal. Streamlined body is there. Then, as I told you, their endoskeleton is made up of hollow bones. They are warm-blooded animal. Warm-blooded animal means their body temperature will never change with the outer environment. Respiration through lungs. Lungs will have the capacity to take the oxygen which is present on the land. Here, as I told you, they are tetrapods. It means 4 limbs should be there. But in birds, the 4 limbs, जो आगे के पैर होते हैं, the 4 limbs will be modified into wings. And they can walk with the hind limbs only. So hind limbs help them for walking and swimming. Hind limb they will use for walking and swimming. Walking and swimming. Okay. So these are the basic feature of apes. In this, we can give the example of any bird, parrot, pigeon. Yes, one more thing is there, that is gizzard is present. They don't have gizzard present which help for grinding the food. Grinding the food. Because there is no teeth. Then how, there might be the question arises in your mind that how they can grind the food, they don't have, how they can chew the food, how they can break down the food, because they are having a special organ inside their neck which is known as gizzard. Okay, now if we will talk about the heart is 4-chambered heart. 4 chambers are present for efficient oxygen supply. Continuous, their body, when they are flying, they need excess amount of energy, and that continuous energy supply will be given by the heart. Okay, example, as I told you, what you can write: parrot, pigeon, peacock. These all are the example of, and many others are also. Now let us talk about the mammalia in which we are belonging to it. You should know all the characteristics which are the part of mammal. So you can see elephant, kangaroo, cow, bat, rat. Then you are having dolphin, rabbit, and monkey. Many animals, all the animals, they all are belonging to mammals. So let us talk about what are the characteristics of mammalia. The first thing is the mammals are warm-blooded animals. Warm-blooded animal means their body temperature will never change according to the outer temperature. This is the speciality or peculiarity of the warm-blooded animal. Then they are having mammary gland. Because of the presence of this mammary gland, or the animals are belonging to, or we also are belonging to mammalia. What is the function of mammary gland? They will secrete the milk which can be used to feed the young one, or the feed the fetus or the young one. Yeah. Now the next is the body is covered with hair. Body is covered with hair. This is also the special feature of this particular class. Then 4-chambered heart. That is also one of the special feature of mammalia. Then skin have mucus gland, sweat gland. Skin covered with mucus gland and sweat gland. पसीना मैमल्स को ही आता है, इससे पहले वाले एनिमल्स को कोई पसीना नहीं आता है. Presence of external ears are there for listening to the environment changes. So external ear or pinna is present. That is also one of the feature of mammal. Then kidney, proper urinary system is there, or kidney are there for excretion, for removal of the metabolic waste from the blood. Sexes are separated, as we know that as we will move to the upper classes, the animals will never show hermaphrodite condition. Sexes are separate. Internal fertilization is there. Internal fertilization means the fertilization takes place inside the body of the female. Internal fertilization will be there. Okay, so these all are the special feature of mammal. They are viviparous. Viviparous means they will give birth to the young one, give birth to the baby or the young one. But the two special example that is on generally asked, that name the oviparous mammal. Oviparous mammal example is duck-billed platypus and spiny anteater. It is also known as echidna. Echidna. These are duck-billed platypus, and in the normal common language, echidna is also known as spiny anteater. Spiny anteater. Spiny anteater. So never forget these two examples. Other example for mammal are whale. Never get confused. Whale and dolphin, though they are living inside the water, but they are viviparous. Their body is covered with hair, and they are having lungs for respiration. They can't take in the dissolved oxygen present inside the water. Even the bat, generally you have seen that this is the nocturnal bird. Nocturnal bird means which can be active during the night time only. It is looking like a bird, but it is actually the mammal. So these are the various, and the best example is human is the superior example of the mammal. So students, that's all for today. Please like, subscribe and share the channel and stay tuned for further updates. Thank you.